All right, so in this video, I'm going to go over some modern features in Excel that almost nobody knows about. So in this example, we have some sales data here. We have some sales reps in this column. And if I go to this commission rates worksheet, we'll have some commission rates that are assigned to those salespeople. Let's just generate some reports out of this, and that should show you some of these features. It's not really going to be about reports themselves. It's just for demonstrating these different features you could actually use right now. So I'm going to start by converting this and the other data table to an actual Excel table. So I'll click here, insert, go under table, and hit OK. It has headers. I'm going to go on top here. You could remove this formatting if you don't like it. I'm just going to choose something lighter here. I'm going to choose a name for this table. I'm going to call it sales underscore data. Hit enter and go to commission rates and also convert this to a table and call this one rates underscore data. Hit enter. I'll change this a little bit too. So the purpose of creating a table is that it's an expandable range. So as I refer to the range, as we keep adding more data to both of these tables, our reports are going to automatically update. So I'm going to go ahead and create another worksheet. This is where I'm going to call it a dashboard or something like that. And that's where I'm going to do most of my functions. Let's just zoom in a little bit. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get a nice clean list of sales reps from here. See the sales rep column. I named this table sales data. That's this column right here. So I'm going to go here and do equals unique. And then I'm going to refer to that table, sales data, open a square bracket and refer to that column sales rep in that table. So if I go ahead and do this, close parentheses, hit enter, it's going to give us a unique list of sales reps. As you can see, I also got a 0 here. Now, the reason I get the 0 is because in here, we have some of these blanks. And those blanks are coming through as zeros. So we have a couple of ways to deal with this. If I wanted to just have a blank instead of the 0, since these are text values, I should be able to just go here and just around this sales data range, I can just add value to text function, close parentheses, and hit enter, and that should convert that 0 to an actual blank. Now, in my case, I don't want to keep the blank, so I want to get rid of it. So what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to go back here, remove this, and I'm going to filter out blanks. So I'm going to add a filter function right around this range of data, and that's the data range we need to return. And after the comma here, inside of this filter function, I'm going to filter that data using that same column, sales data table, and the column is sales rep. And I want to make sure it's not equal to blank. Close parentheses to close that filter function, and second parentheses for our unique function. Hit enter. We should have a nice unique list of values. I'll just name this salespeople. So at this point, let's say we want to get total sales and total cost for each one of those. So I'll go back here and do total sales and total cost. And if I wanted to do this, now I would do SUMIF function or SUMIFS. Let's use that. And I'm going to use a sum range. So the sum range for this is going to be sales. So I'll just go to sales data and choose that column sales. I don't have to go and select it. I can just use the table name, comma. Criteria range from that same table is going to be sales rep column. And usually what you would do here, you would do a comma and refer to the cell over here. And that should give you the total for Isabella. But I want this to automatically expand and update with my data. So what I'm going to do after the C4, I'm going to add a pound key And this means basically go until the end of this array. So this first function that I did, it did an array. And basically by doing this, we're saying match this array size. So I'm going to do that, hit enter. And as you can see, we got everybody's totals just like that. So if I go ahead and add some $signs for this, that should work. So now I could do the same sort of thing for my cost column. So I can do some ifs just like that. And then I'm going to do my sum range from that same table. This time I'm going to do cost, comma, and then we have our same table. This time we're going to choose, again, sales rep column as a criteria range. And finally, criteria is going to be this array right here. So C4 pound key. If I hit enter, that should just do that too. So now if I wanted to do some sort of profit margin percentage, I should be able to just take this E4, add a pound key, and divide it by this D4 and add a pound key. And for now, if I do this, let me just make this a percentage. That should give us what percentage of our sales is the cost. We actually need the opposite. So if the cost is 61%, then our profit margin is going to be the remaining 39% or whatever it is. So to do that, we'll just do 1 minus that. And that's an array formula that will just drop this down. Now, why am I doing this syntax, right? Because I could technically just select this range. Now, the reason for that is now if we go back and modify our data, let's say we have another salesperson, we have some different transactions. So I'm going to go to sales data here and scroll down. And let's say we're going to add a sale for a completely different person. Something like this. So as I add this data to this table, if I go back and take a look at my dashboard, see Peter is already here. Everything recalculated because it's matching the array size, including this profit margin, because we're referred to the array itself, just like that. Now let's take this to another level. Now let's say we want to have these sorted. So if I just wanted to sort their names alphabetically, I should be able to simply just go here and sort this. Just take the first function, sort the data, and here we go. Works just fine. But what could be a little more interesting is to sort it by, let's say, total sales from highest to lowest. So to be able to do that, we would actually need to return combined 2-column result of some sort to be able to then take that result and sort it by the sales amount. So let's see how we could possibly do that. So these 2 columns I'm going to keep. I'm going to remove these columns here, and we'll keep the formulas, we'll update those. So again, I'm going to start by getting a nice unique list of sales reps. And again, I'll filter my results to just keep everything that's not blank. So we'll take this, we'll take that sales data, and make sure that sales rep is not equal to blank. Close parentheses, close parentheses. If I hit enter, that should give us our unique list of values. So now, what I need to do, I need to now get that sum inside of the same array returned here. We basically have to do that sum ifs using the same data that we already have, and then also return that same data as another column. And since I'm going to need that same data a couple of times, I'm going to use let function, and I'm going to give this a name. I'm going to call this rep list, and I'm going to store this using that let function in a variable. So we're going to take this result, store it in this variable rep list. So that way we can refer to that multiple times and do what we need to do. So now what I need to do, I need to return 2-column results. And for that, I'm going to use choose function. And we're going to need 2 columns. So I'm going to say 1, 2 in this array bracket. And then after comma, I'm going to basically give it the first column of data and the second column of data. The first column of data I'm going to need is rep's name, which is going to be that rep list variable from this let function. And then the second one is going to be that SUMIFS function that I was just doing. So I'm going to do SUMIFS, and then we're going to need sum range. So I'm going to do that sales data, open square bracket, and sales column. That's going to be my sum range, comma. Then I need criteria range, which is again going to go from sales data and sales reps. And then finally, I need the criteria. So the criteria would be that list of unique reps, which I can get by simply referring to that rep list. So that should give us that second column for that choose function. And then I can close parentheses again. And that should take care of my choose function. I need another parentheses to close my let function. And if I hit enter for now, see, I got one array that returns this entire thing. So now because it's a single array, I should be able to sort it using this column in that array. So for that, I'll go back and sort this result and do a comma here, and then sort it by the second column in that array too. And it's going to be in descending order. So I'm going to do comma and do this -1 for descending, close parentheses, hit enter, and there it is. Now we have our data sorted, as you can see, from highest number to lowest number. So now that brings us to this. So now that we have this, now the rest we're going to do based on the salespeople. Now, if you remember, I used to refer to that C4, use this pound key to go all the way down, right? Now the problem is, now we have this 2-column thing going on here. So when we provide a criteria here, it needs to be just this salespeople's names. So how could we do that? This C4 pound key is a 2-column thing. So what I can do, I can use index around that C4. And then I can do a comma. And for a row number, I want to get all the rows from that list, that array. So I'm going to skip that. And for the column, I need the first column, which is that salespeople. So I'm going to do 1, close parentheses, like this, and hit enter. And now you can see this works because I'm able to actually grab just the first column from this array. So now let's get our profit margins. So the problem in this one is that E4 pound key is fine. That's our total cost. But this D4 pound key doesn't work anymore because our array formula is actually here in C4. And if I change that to C4, well, we're going to have that problem. We have 2 columns. So I need the second column from this. So I'm going to go ahead and put that index here too. And I'm going to say from that, return all the rows. So I'm going to skip the row 1 and get me the second column, just like that. Hit enter. Here we go. We got our profit margins returned, just like that. So now let's also get these commission rates from here next to this dashboard. So for each person, we want their respective commission rate. And for that, we could use something like XLOOKUP. And for a lookup value, I need their names. And again, if I do this and pound key, that would refer to 2 columns. I just need the first one. So again, I'm going to do index, open parentheses, comma, comma, 1 to get the first column, comma. Then I need lookup array, which is coming from that commission rate table. So I named that table rates data, and we're going to choose that column of names from there, sales rep, comma. And then the second column in that lookup table is going to be their commission rates. Not sales data, we need rates data, which is that same table here. So we need that rate column. Here we go. Close this, close parentheses, hit enter. And there it is. We got our rates. Now you'll notice I got an NA there. And that's because when I was adding Peter, I never did add Peter to this list. Now we can handle this in different ways, right? So we could go here and simply just add more arguments here to this XLOOKUP. We can do comma and say if not found. Maybe we have like a default commission rate, or maybe we just want to leave it blank. I guess I'm just going to do blank. So I'm going to do this. But now if I go back to rates table and add Peter to this, and now that should show up automatically on our dashboard. So the next thing I'm going to do here, I'm going to add some totals by region right here on top. So let's go get our regions from our sales data table right here. See, right in this column. So again, I need a nice clean list out of this. So I'll go to my dashboard, and right here, I'll do unique, and then refer to that column from that table from sales data. That was region column, bracket, close parentheses, hit enter. So we have 4 regions, as you can see. Now I want those regions to be listed this way so we can get our totals right here. So for that, we can transpose this data. Close parentheses, hit enter. So now I want my totals over here. Now to do that, I'm going to do a single formula here. And I'm going to take some range from sales data. I'm going to take sales column, comma. Now I'm going to do criteria range. So we have 2 criteria ranges. One of them is going to be salespeople's names, and the other one is going to be regions. So I'll start with one of them. I'll take sales data and take sales rep. That would be their names, comma. And then I need the criteria for this, which would be this column of names. So if you remember, that was a 2-dimensional array. So I'm going to do index and click here and do a pound key to refer to that. And then from that, I'm going to do comma, comma, all rows and just the first column to just grab their names. So at this point, if I close parentheses for this and close parentheses again, hit enter, that should be pretty much the same thing I did here. This should be also filtered to south. So for that, I'm going to go back to this formula, to the SUMIFS formula, and add more arguments here. So I'm going to go right before this last parentheses, do a comma, and I'm going to select now regions column to filter. So from that same data set, we're going to do region column. And then comma, we need to provide criteria. So again, if I wanted to get the total for just that region, that would be age 3. So I'm going to type that. And if I hit enter, you'll see that gives me the total for just South region. Now I need it for West, Midwest, and all of these regions. So what I'm going to do here, since this is going to be an array, I'm just going to do a pound key to just refer to the results of that array. And if I hit enter, we get all of our results just like that. And it automatically expanded. This should now work pretty much dynamically. So anything I go add to my sales data table, this should just update without a problem. So for example, let's just go add some Southeast to this. So I'm going to go back to this and we're going to add another sale. This is a new region. It didn't exist before. I guess we'll do it for Peter again. I'll copy some of this. There we go. Let's go check it out. So I'm going to go to my table right here. So as you can see, our Southeast automatically appears here. I didn't have to do anything. It just happens to be here. And if we wanted to add more people to this list, we of course can. So I can actually go change that from Peter to somebody else so you can see what would happen. So we'll do Amanda. Let's go back and take a look. And as you can see, now we have Amanda here in this list too. We don't have a percentage for Amanda, so there's nothing here. We could, of course, go and add that here. And if we do that, it will appear in our list just like that without making any changes whatsoever. So there you have it. So there are a lot of cool things you can do now with dynamic arrays. You can even do two-dimensional arrays to return two-dimensional results. And that should do it for this video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.